This is just a supplement to my 9.4 video, just to clarify how to simplify using square roots if I ask you, or if I ask you to do decimal places. All right, so here's a red problem right here. So x squared equals 10. To solve it, you take the square root of both sides. So the answer, the exact answer is x equals plus or minus the square root of 10. If I ask you for the exact answer, this is the exact answer. But if I ask you to round to 2 decimal places, well, how do you do that? Well, the square root button, if you come over here, here's the square root button right here on the calculator. And so you go second square root, type in 10. And oh, by the way, I have mine. Remember, I told you guys how to use float. So mine's automatically rounding to 2 decimal places. If you're not sure how to do float, or if you don't need the float, if you know how to round, then you don't need to do this. But if you go to mode, go down to float, and if I tell you to do 2 decimal places, then you want 2. If I tell you 1, then you want 1, and that way the calculator rounds it for you to be able to do that. But again, if you don't have a problem with rounding, then just use just type it in and get the decimal and then round yourself. Again, the black problem right here, 9x squared equals 64. Just to make sure you know what I'm talking about. So this problem right here, x equals, you would write plus or minus 3.16. If I ask you to do 2 decimal places. All right, so here, the black problem, 9x squared equals 64. Divide both sides by 9. Then take the square root of both sides. So this is the exact answer. If I ever ask you the exact answer, that's what I'm looking for. But again, if I need you to do decimal places, then you would just plug that into your calculator. 8 divided by 3. And again, it's rounded. Don't forget the plus or minus. That's something some students, year after year, they forget to do the plus minus. Remember, there are 2 answers on this to be able to do this. So one last problem. On the video, I went over this problem, and I wanted to go over how to plug this answer into your calculator. There is no plus and minus button on the calculator. I mean, there's a plus button and then there's a minus, but there's no plus minus button on the calculator. So what you're going to have to do, this literally means 2 plus the square root of 7, and then 2 minus the square root of 7. So literally that's what it means. It means 2 plus the square root of 7, and then you're just going to plug that into your calculator. So 4.65. And then you're going to go back and plug in 2 minus the square root of 7. So negative 0.65. And that's how you use your calculator with square roots.